All right, hello everybody. Welcome to our next lesson here. This is Spies and McCarthyism. This is for our unit, or the unit, the Cold War. Our objectives and standards: to explain the cases of spying that happened in the United States, analyze the result of the Rosenberg's trial, explain Senator Joseph McCarthy's search for communists, and analyze the conclusion of the hunt for communists by Senator Joseph McCarthy. And take a moment there to read over the standards if you would, please. So the Hiss trial. In 1948, Whittaker Chambers, this gentleman right up here in the top corner, he was a former communist spy who accused Alger Hiss, this gentleman down here, of spying for the Soviet Union. Now, Hiss had worked for the State Department, and Chambers provided microfilm of documentation from government material from Hiss's typewriter. So what they basically said is that Hiss was giving these government information and secrets to the Soviets, and Chambers said he had proof of that. Now, Hiss was not charged with espionage, since it had been many years since the assumed event had happened. So espionage is spying. So Hiss was not charged with spying, but he was charged with perjury, or lying under oath about the documents, because they did find the documents and proof of that, and he was sentenced to jail. Now, Hiss maintained his innocence, but many years later, in the 1990s, the evidence was released for sure, and that it appeared to prove his guilt in the matter. So other spying shocks. In 1949, the Soviets exploded an atomic bomb. Remember, the United States was the first to do this, and it was kind of a shock to the United States and other Americans that the Soviets were able to do this as well. Many thought that it would take longer for the Soviet Union to develop the bomb, so people began to suspect that maybe there had been spies in the United States that had leaked this information to the Soviets, and this will lead the way for the next spy case that will shock the nation. The case: 1950, German-born physicist Klaus Fuchs, and I believe I'm saying his name correctly, sorry if I'm not, said he gave information about the atomic bomb to Soviets. You can see his picture there. He also stated that it helped the Soviets develop the bomb. Julius and Ethel Rosenberg, minor members of the American Communist Party, were also accused of espionage. Julius and Ethel Rosenberg, you can see them both here. Julius, the gentleman there, and his wife Ethel, right there as well. The couple denied the charges and pled not guilty. Both claimed they were persecuted for being Jewish and their beliefs. They were found guilty of espionage and sentenced to death. And again, their picture there. I believe this is after they've been arrested or during the trial, sometime like that. I'm not quite sure, but that's both of them there. Sorry about that. Now, the final decision. Many people around the country and even the world were upset with the death sentence decision because they felt that maybe it was too harsh of a punishment, and many felt that maybe the evidence did not support the claims that they had actually given secrets to the Soviets. The case was actually taken to the Supreme Court, but the sentence was not stopped, and in June of 1953, the Rosenbergs were executed by electric chair. They actually left behind 2 sons, and this will be the first time that American civilians will be executed for espionage. So, also in terms of searching for communists, is this gentleman. Senator Joseph McCarthy was a Republican from Wisconsin. He was not a very effective senator, really didn't do too much, really not well known. So he began to look for something to help his career and make him more well known, to help him win an election in 1950, or win re-election in 1950. So what McCarthy did was he actually states that he believes the government is being taken over by communists, and this will begin what becomes known as McCarthyism. The senator began making accusations about people in the government, even though he had no real evidence. Again, these attacks on suspected communists during the 1950s became known as McCarthyism. He had different numbers of accused communists of working at the State Department, and he also accused Democrats of treason for allowing communists to sneak their way into government positions, according to him. He also made accusations in the Senate where he had legal protection to his statements as well. Now, Republicans did not do anything to stop Senator McCarthy because they wanted to win the presidential election of 1952. And again, many Americans were suspicious of communists, and many Americans were somewhat in favor of searching for communists and trying to, stop communism if it was trying to spread in the United States. So the Republicans say, let him do what he's doing. Maybe this builds some support for, Republicans and, for the upcoming election. So they don't do anything really to stop him. Again, they also believed that they could win if the nation thought that they were the ones who rid the government of suspected communist members. But there were a group of senators that did decide to speak out against McCarthyism. Senator McCarthy is going to cross the line when he made statements against the United States Army in 1954. He basically accuses the Army, the soldiers, the generals, of having some communists in it. And not really too friendly to accuse, the people who are fighting for your freedom of being communists. So the hearings were actually televised on TV, and many people believe that McCarthy was actually kind of being a bully to the generals, to the soldiers that he was interviewing. So it cost him a large amount of support with the American people. So people began to kind of turn away from McCarthy and go, okay, he's going too far. Maybe he's going off the deep end here with his accusations. The U.S. Senate will actually condemn his actions as well and said he brought dishonor to the Senate. And Joseph McCarthy will actually die 3 years later of alcoholism.
Protection from communism. The United States took other actions to stop the spread of communism at home. States made it illegal to advocate for the overthrow of government, even though this violated the freedom of speech. Towns and cities also did the same. Investigations were held of union leaders, librarians, reporters, and scientists. There was no profession that was safe from communist suspicion. And I apologize earlier if my voice kind of cracked there a little bit. Okay, so our closure. How did spy cases and McCarthyism impact those in the United States? Think about some of the events and some of the details that you learned about, and that'll help you answer your questions. Please try your best on the questions that follow, and let me know if you have any questions or concerns. And I hope you have a great rest of your day or night, and I hope to talk to you all soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.